The cameras flashed, the crowd froze. For 2 decades, Hollywood sold us a very specific image.
Right. The whole butterfly clips and Disney Channel wands era.
Exactly, the platinum blonde arena tours.
Mm.
But imagine that spotlight shifting. Imagine those soft, focused gel filters just being completely ripped away.
Yeah. Revealing a woman in 2026 who is, frankly, just done smiling through the pain.
Because she was the girl who kept the secrets. She weathered the divorce, the body shaming, the crushing industry pressure in absolute silence. But this week, that silence didn't just break, it shattered.
It absolutely exploded. But I have to ask right off the top, is this a genuine shattering, or is this just the standard former child star goes rogue playbook? Because we have seen this movie before.
That is the million-dollar question. But looking at the source material we have today, this really feels different. This is the moment she decided to burn the rule book. The catalyst is right there in the title of the video, trending everywhere right now.
Hilary Duff just revealed everything.
Exactly. With the release of her new album, Luck or Something, and a press tour that feels more like a confession booth than a promotional circuit, she has dropped 3 massive bombshells that rewrite her entire history.
And we aren't just talking about, like, vague tweets. We're talking about legal settlements, family estrangements, and actually naming names.
Welcome to Starscope Report,
where we uncover Hollywood drama, music industry shakeups, and viral influencer scandals.
From red carpet surprises to social media controversies, we dive deep into the stories behind the fame. Today, we are doing a deep dive into Hilary Duff's 2026 renaissance.
So, help me understand the landscape here. She's 38 now. She's a mother of 4. She's been in the industry since she was, 8 years old? Why blow it all up now?
Because, according to her interview with Dakota Fanning in Interview magazine, she finally feels safe enough to be the narrator. For 30 years, she was a silent participant in her own life. Now she is controlling the story. We've gone through all the sources for this deep dive, the lyrics from the new album, the transcripts from her explosive Call Her Daddy interview, and that really raw Rolling Stone profile.
Okay, let's get into it. Because the headline that is absolutely dominating my feed right now isn't even about her marriage or her acting. It's about her sister. And that just feels, I don't know, wrong. The Duff sisters were a dynasty.
They were the benchmark. If you grew up in the 2000s, Hilary and Haylie were a package deal.
They did Material Girls together. They covered Madonna together.
They were inseparable. But you're right, that dynamic is dead. Hilary has officially confirmed her estrangement from Haylie Duff.
See, I saw the headlines, but I just assumed it was tabloids making mountains out of molehills. Is it actually confirmed in her own words?
It's confirmed in the music, and it's confirmed in the interviews. On the new album, there is a track called We Don't Talk.
Well, that's not subtle at all.
Not at all. And the lyrics are devastatingly specific. She sings, "'Cause we come from the same home, the same blood, a different combination, but the same lock."
Wow. That's actually a really interesting metaphor. The same lock. It implies they are the only 2 people who hold the key to understanding their specific childhood trauma.
But they can't access each other anymore.
The keys.
And in Rolling Stone, Hilary didn't dance around it. She admitted that not having her sister is the most lonely part of my existence.
Think about that phrasing for a second. She has a husband, 4 kids, millions of fans, but she calls this estrangement the most lonely part.
That points to a really specific type of isolation. We haven't seen them photographed together since 2019. That's 7 years of silence. But, nature abhors a vacuum, and the internet has been filling that silence with some wild theories.
Oh my gosh, did you see the mustard couch thing?
I went so deep down the rabbit hole on the mustard couch.
It sounds ridiculous, but explain it for the listener who isn't chronically online.
So, during a London concert, Hilary had a prop couch on stage. It was a mustard yellow velvet sofa. Fans on TikTok, who are basically amateur forensic detectives at this point.
Seriously, they're terrifyingly good.
Right. Well, they were convinced this couch symbolized a specific piece of furniture in Hayley's living room. They spun this entire narrative that the couch was a signal, a cry for help, or a dig at her sister.
People were making literal hour-long video essays about upholstery.
Which just shows how desperate people are for an answer. Hilary actually had to come out and debunk it. She called it absolute bullshit. She basically said, "I don't have time to plant Easter eggs about furniture. I'm raising 4 kids."
Yeah, the couch theory was fake, but the pain is real. And there's a sociological layer here that we really need to unpack. This isn't just two sisters fighting. This is about the business of being a relatable mom.
Right, because both of them pivoted hard into the mom influencer space.
Exactly. And that space is incredibly toxic. There's that recent news involving Ashley Tisdale and a so-called toxic mom group.
Yes, the reporting suggests that Haylie publicly supported Ashley Tisdale in a feud that reportedly involved Hilary.
That is huge. Because in the influencer economy, your tribe is your brand. If your own sister sides with your rival in the public square, it's not just a personal betrayal, it's a business move.
It devalues the Duff sister brand.
It publicly pitted them against each other in a way that felt very high school, but with very adult stakes.
Hilary compares releasing the song to the pain of her divorce. She said it feels like reliving private trauma for public consumption. She knows that by putting it on the album, she's inviting the world into her heartbreak.
It's a double-edged sword. She wants to be honest, but honesty invites scrutiny.
But wait till you hear what came next. Coming up, a look back at 2004 that makes us all uncomfortable in 2026, and the song that finally calls it out.
If you're loving these Hollywood twists, make sure you're subscribed. We've got even crazier stories ahead, and you really don't want to miss our next deep dive.
So if we talk about scrutiny, we have to talk about the other relationship that defined her early life.
The one that everyone normalized back in the day, but looks completely horrifying in 2026.
The elephant in the room, or rather, the 25-year-old man in the teenager's room.
We're talking about Joel Madden.
We are, and this is where the deep dive gets a bit uncomfortable. We have to look back at 2004. Hilary Duff was 16 years old. She was the queen of the teen world. Lizzie McGuire, the movies, the albums, and she starts dating Joel Madden, the lead singer of Good Charlotte.
Who was 25 or 26 at the time.
Correct.
You know, I remember reading magazines back then, and they treated it like this edgy, cool rock star and the princess romance. Literally nobody questioned the math.
Nobody questioned the power dynamic either. But looking at it through the lens of 2026, and through the lens of this new album, Hilary is finally questioning it. The lead single is called Mature.
Which, again, is a loaded gun of a title. Because that is the grooming playbook, isn't it? Telling a young girl she's mature for her age.
It is the standard line, and the lyrics are scathing. She attacks that specific trope head-on. She sings, "She looks like all of your girls, but blonder, a little like me, just younger."
Oh, wow.
And then she follows it up with, "Bet she loves when she hears you say, 'You're so mature for your age, babe.'"
A little like me, just younger. That honestly sends shivers down my spine. It paints a picture of a pattern. It's not about her. It's about a type. And she was just the type at that moment.
Now, to be completely fair to the journalistic process, Hilary does play a bit coy in the interviews. She references a brief experience a long, long time ago. She even called it autofiction, kind of comparing her writing style to Lily Allen or Taylor Swift.
But come on. The timeline matches perfectly. The description matches. Calling it autofiction is just a way to avoid a defamation lawsuit, right?
Likely, yes. But emotionally, it's a reckoning. She is processing that feeling of being a child who was treated like a woman way before she was ready. And that concept, the struggle to reclaim her own adulthood, bleeds directly into the current controversy surrounding another track on the album.
Oh, the song Roommates.
Yes.
The Disney moms are absolutely losing their minds over this one online.
They really are. And this is where the parasocial relationship gets super weird. Roommates is a song about the lull in a long-term marriage. It's about feeling like you're just living with your partner rather than being in love. It's a very adult, very relatable theme.
But there is a specific lyric that mentions porn and masturbation.
And the internet gasped. The backlash was immediate. You had critics and fans online asking, do you sing that in front of your kids? Or what would Disney say?
Which is such a bizarre critique. She is a 38-year-old woman. She has a husband. Presumably she has a sex life. Why are people shocked?
Because to an entire generation of people, she is still Lizzie McGuire. There is this invisible purity contract that child stars sign with their audience. If you break it, the audience feels betrayed.
But her clapback, and I use that word advisedly, in the Call Her Daddy interview was just perfect.
What did she say?
She said, "I'm not making music for 7-year-olds. I'm making music for myself." She was genuinely confused by the outrage.
I love that. She's refusing to be infantilized. It's the ultimate act of growing up. She's saying, I have sexual frustration, I have grooming trauma, I have loneliness. She's presenting a full human spectrum, not just the radio-friendly breakup anthems.
Exactly. She's settled the score with the past. But what about her life now? Because one of the biggest reveals in this deep dive is that her current life isn't exactly a fairy tale either.
It involves fires, fighting, and throwing expensive electronics into the landscaping.
And that's not even the wildest part. Stay tuned to hear about the drag-out fight that left a phone in the bushes, and why a $2.4 million check was the price of her freedom.
If you're invested in this story, make sure you hit that subscribe button so you don't miss any of our future deep dives. We've got so much more coming.
We're going to get to the phone in the bush because the visual is hilarious, but first we have to understand the trauma that led up to it. We have to talk about the divorce.
The Mike Comrie divorce. This honestly feels like a lifetime ago.
It does. But the details coming out now paint a very disturbing picture. They married in 2010. He was an NHL player, heir to the brick furniture empire in Canada.
His family is worth hundreds of millions of dollars, so financially they were both set.
You would think so. But the marriage had a slow fade. And then came the Mastro's Steakhouse incident in 2014.
I vaguely remember this. Was he drunk?
TMZ reported heavily on this at the time. Mike Comrie was reportedly at Mastro's in Beverly Hills, visibly intoxicated, and was reportedly propositioning women.
Wow.
The reports claim he was asking women how much for sex.
Yikes. That is just publicly humiliating.
It is. And Duff filed for divorce literally one day after those reports hit the news. But here's the nuance that Hilary reveals in Call Her Daddy. It wasn't just anger. She said she was terrified.
She called it a scary time. She was terrified of messing up her son, Luca. She basically put all her own trauma aside just to keep him stable.
And this is where the legal side of this deep dive gets really interesting, because of the settlement.
Right. The legal documents reveal that Hilary paid Mike Comrie $2,408,786 to settle his interest in their Beverly Hills home.
Wait, pause. Walk me through this. His family is worth hundreds of millions. He allegedly humiliated her publicly, and she wrote him a check for over $2.4 million. How does that make any sense?
It all comes down to California family law. California is a community property state.
No.
Everything acquired during the marriage is split 50-50. Even though he has family money, the house they lived in was likely purchased during the marriage. Technically, he owned half of it.
So she wasn't paying him alimony. She was literally buying him out of his own house.
Exactly. She wanted to stay in the house. She wanted Luca to have the same bedroom, the same backyard, the same stability. She didn't want to uproot her child during a scary time, so she calculated the value of his equity and wrote the check.
It was a peace tax. She paid $2.4 million for her independence and her son's stability.
That is actually incredibly pragmatic and a little heartbreaking. It shows she was playing the long game while everyone else was just focused on the tabloid scandal.
She kept the house. And that brings us to the present day. She is now married to Matthew Koma, the musician and producer.
They seem great on Instagram. Very chaotic, very funny.
They are. But Hilary wants us to know it's not a performance. In her conversation with Dakota Fanning, she opened up about their dynamic. She says they rarely fight, but once a year, they have a drag-out fight.
And the most recent one happened during a literal natural disaster.
The 2025 Los Angeles fires.
Yes. The family was displaced. They were evacuated from that exact home she fought so hard to keep. They were staying in a rental, high stress, 4 kids running around, smoke in the air.
That is a total pressure cooker. I don't care how rich you are, evacuation is traumatic.
It really is. And in the middle of this annual blow-up, Hilary admits she just snapped. She grabbed Matthew's phone and hurled it.
Where did it go?
Straight into a bougainvillea bush.
Okay, for those of you who don't garden, bougainvillea is not a soft landing. Those things have massive, vicious thorns.
They are brutal. And she told Dakota Fanning it felt so good. And I think this story matters because it contrasts so sharply with the Mike Comrie era.
How so?
With Mike, she was silent. She paid the money. She smiled through the Mastro's rumors. She kept it Disney perfect. With Matthew, she's allowed to be messy. She's allowed to scream. She's allowed to throw a phone into a thorn bush.
That's a really profound point. The first marriage was about image maintenance. This marriage is about survival.
And that brings us to the core analysis of this entire deep dive. This is the theme of the new era. Luck or something. It's not about maintaining the image of the perfect teen idol. It's about surviving the chaos.
She's survived the fires, literal and metaphorical. She's survived the feuds. She's survived the fame. And now she can actually laugh about the mess.
It's refreshing. Hilary Duff has transitioned from a silent participant in her own life to the narrator. She's reclaiming the narrative on her sister, her exes, and her sexuality.
But I do have to play devil's advocate for a second here and leave you with a provocative thought. We cheer for this radical honesty. We love the tea, we love the lyrics about the sister and the ex, but is this actually healthy? Or is she doing exactly what she fears, oversharing, to the point where she closes doors permanently?
That is the question, isn't it? Hilary admitted that releasing the song about her sister might mean they never talk again. She knows the cost. Is radical honesty the only way for child stars to truly survive Hollywood? Or does it just invite more pain?
In Hollywood, maybe the truth is the only thing you have left to sell.
That is a heavy thought to end on, but it's the reality of the business.
It really is.
You've been listening to Starscript Report, where we uncover the stories shaping Hollywood, music, and pop culture. Thanks for tuning in, and don't forget to subscribe for more stories that keep the stars shining.